Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson contained in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 153, Dust is the Only Secret. It is a possible theodicy again. Definitely death is going to be personified here. In some ways, Emily loves the dance between the two polarities, as we've already said, of the ancient classical tradition and, of course, the biblical tradition. And in this regards, we're back to Hades, of course, in his taking of Persephone and all of that, the personification of death, the god of the underworld. Now, our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, again, our playlist, and that I'm hopeful that you've been already introduced to our introductory lecture, again, of our Big Five. The last is the theodicy question. I'm hopeful that you're already familiar with that. And we've worked through the preceding 152 poems with the son of poem 152. Now we got another riddle poem here, guys, as we've called it. The question is, who are we talking about? And we'll figure it out that in fact it is death. It is a fun poem to read out loud. I want you to hear all of the sounds that's going on here. And then again, the question of Emily's theodicy and her theology will always take center stage here, especially her referencing to Christ at the end. Dust is the only secret, death, the only one you cannot find out all about in his native town. Nobody knew his father, never was a boy, hadn't any playmates or early history. Industrious, laconic, punctual, sedate, bold as a brigand, stiller than a fleet, bills like a bird, too. Christ robs the nest, robin after robin, smuggled to rest. Now, I find this interesting. Of course, we think of Longfellow's Psalm of Life, dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. We begin with the word dust here. Dust is the only secret. So much of Emily's work is about the uncertain, the secret, the curious, and to this degree now, what exactly is death? So now we're going to talk about it. Death, the only one cannot find out all about. Notice the rhythm of that one. In his native town, that is to say in the cemetery. Notice that we have the quotation marks around native town and his father. Nobody knew his father. Of course, the minute we think of nobody, we think of I'm Nobody, Who Are You, that famous poem. And we think, of course, of Odysseus. And we think of the poem 152, Nobody Was There. So she's playing again with this idea. Nobody knew his father, never was a boy, hadn't any playmates, back to poem 53 and 146 with this idea of playmates, or early history, again, this quotation mark, quotation marks around this phrase, native town in early history. And then about death, we're told that death is industrious, well, everybody gets jacked, laconic, of course, punctual and sedate, bold as a brigand, stiller than a fleet. In other words, notice all these exclamation points. You got 8 of them here, celebrating what death can do. Bills like a bird, too. And then, very much like John Donne's sonnet, Death Be Not Proud, here we have the although of a possible theodicy. Although, even though death does all these things, Christ robs the very nest that death builds. Robin after robin, and then an interesting word, smuggled to rest. Now, what exactly we're going to say about a poem like this? I think our argument is that death, in the end, is the ultimate enigma, but not victorious. In the end, her theology, the idea that Christ will in fact smuggle, as in rescue, those from the nest that has been made, is for her, at least, if not a guarantee, at least a possibility. I think we could say it that way. And to be, all the exclamation points, again, go back to take a look at it. And again, the sounds of this poem, they're fun to read out loud. At 3A, I'd like to think about, just for a moment, that during this time period, yes, of course we have Emerson and Thoreau, we have Whitman, of course, but we've also got Poe, don't we? And think about Poe's Masque of Red Death. We've given full lectures at learnstrong.net over this one. Think about how Poe's Masque of Red Death will as well play the game of personifying death. Finally, at 3B, what are your thoughts about death and the way in which you picture death And to what degree are you buying what Emily is playing with in her theodicy? Thank you.